How are you? Nice to see you. Nice to see you, Commish. I want to say thanks to everyone for joining us today. This is a wonderful announcement. You know, I know from the very beginning, day one of the Morrisey administration, I've talked about the importance of finding good paying jobs, increasing the level of business investment in the state, and really moving the needle in terms of the economic rankings, our standard of living, growing our workforce participation. I want us to be measured by our statistics and what happens at the end, not just, hey, things are going to be better. I want people to see the improvement. We've been working on the fundamentals. I think the fundamentals are coming along well, and we're really happy to be here today. I've talked a lot about West Virginia competing with the other states that we touch in terms of lower tax rates. That's still in the plans. We've had to work hard to make the tough decisions on spending, and that's because I want to make sure we're competing better with Ohio, Pennsylvania, Kentucky, Maryland, and Virginia. We've talked about the importance of cutting red tape. That's one of my favorites. In light of my background as an old regulatory lawyer and the work we did, the cases that we drove forward. Yesterday I was in Washington, D.C., and if ever there's a case that involved a lot of red tape, that was the Waters of the United States rule, that we led the national coalition and pushed back on that and succeeded on that. That's really big for businesses, for homeowners, and people who want to recognize the stewardship, the environmental stewardship that states provide. It's not just the federal government. We also know that we have to build a more business-friendly environment for our people to succeed. So we're making progress every single day. That's what matters. Because in smaller states like West Virginia, you win with the fundamentals. You win by being faster, you win by cutting more red tape, and you create policies that allow innovation to roar and for people and our economies to thrive. So this is what we've been working on. This is a big part of our first legislative session, and I think we're seeing results. Last week at the Governor's Energy Summit, I announced a number of important initiatives around the Mountain State, investments, a lot of it, the work that we've been doing, reflective of the last 6 months of our efforts. I'm very pleased with that because we really wanted to emphasize the role that energy played in terms of being more competitive, having lower electricity prices, and being very attractive for businesses to not only stay in West Virginia, but to grow in West Virginia. And so when I hear about people that are growing and companies that are growing in West Virginia, that's very important, especially with long-term partners like Toyota. That started long before I was governor, but there's been a very good relationship with the country of Japan and also with the companies that have come and located here. So I'm really grateful for that. I think many people know I was just out, we were planting some of the gifts that came, the cherry tree, the cherry blossoms, those are wonderful as well. And I think there's so much we can do to keep building on the relationships that we have. And I mentioned the energy announcements last week. I mean, that was a big week, but this week and next week will be big weeks too. I told you that there'll be more that's coming, and today we come with more. Today, in the form of a $453 million investment by Toyota into their Buffalo plant. That's a pretty exciting thing. And that investment's going to create 80 new jobs. I'm looking forward to hearing more about that and talking to the public about it. And it further solidifies the commitment that we have to the West Virginia manufacturing sector. That's really important for West Virginia. As you're building out all this energy capacity, you want to make sure that there's good manufacturing jobs right here in West Virginia that can take advantage of that. So it's big news for West Virginia. I'm grateful for the long-term partnership. It's almost $500 million. That's real money, and that really reflects a strong confidence in our people, our workforce, and our economy. And I think it also shows a lot of the good things going on in Putnam County, and I'm glad that the commission is here to help out. Thank you. You've been a good partner on so many fronts. I'm glad you're here. We're proud to see Toyota continue to thrive in the Mountain State as they have their fingers on world-class technology, and they're one of the leaders of American manufacturing. It's exciting. So I want to thank Toyota. I want to thank David Rozier for believing in us, for believing in our people, and for making this an important part of your footprint. I'd like to also now give David an opportunity to say a few words about this great announcement. David's the Group Vice President for Region 5 of Toyota North America, and he's also the head of Toyota Motor Manufacturing in West Virginia. So David, welcome your comments. Thank you.
Governor.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you all. Again, Governor, thanks for the invitation to be able to join today, and the other community members that are here in the audience. Today's investment, as the Governor said, is $453 million. That'll bring the total investment in our plant in Buffalo, West Virginia, and Putnam County up to over $3 billion. Right. This investment, what it truly is it's expanding our production capability to produce hybrid transaxles. As we know, that part of the market continues to grow. Specifically, it's expanding by 300% our sixth generation hybrid production capacity, which we announced in April. We're modifying both of our engine lines to increase our hybrid compatible engine production, and it's a 50% increase in our rear motor production, which is also part of the hybrid powertrain system. And what really makes me happy about this is it's truly an investment in our future. Governor, you talk about competing with the local states. Quite frankly, we compete for investment for our plant, right? There are lots of plants, not only here in the region, but also globally, that also have the ability to make the same kind of components that we do. So it's really important for us to be able to compete on a global level to be able to get investment like this. And that's what makes me so proud to be able to come and share this announcement today. It really reflects a reflection or an investment in our product. Again, from a hybrid production capability, it's part of our multi-pathway approach to providing a vehicle for all customers. It's an investment in our equipment and our process. It allows us to refurbish some equipment, but also invest in new technology that's cutting edge in terms of advanced manufacturing. But most importantly, it's an investment in our people. We have part of what makes our plant in Putnam County so special is the people of West Virginia. We have a great team. They do really good things. I'm humbled and honored to be here to represent them today. And what this reflects is that an investment in their long-term job security, and honestly, that fills my heart and makes me happy. So thanks for having me today. Thanks for letting us share the good news, and we look forward to a bright future together.
Yeah, thank you. That's wonderful. Really heartwarming, because I know credit for this goes back generations. I mean, there's been a lot of work. The partnership between the company and past administrations, past legislatures. So it's a wonderful thing what we've announced today, but it's continuing to make the climate better to invest in, which is what we're doing every single day, because we know you have to compete. We have to compete. Competition is one of the major, not just buzzwords of our administration, but it's what we fight for every single day. And I've told people, watch out for West Virginia. This is our comeback story, and we're going to keep growing and growing, and we're not done yet. I'm not going to tease what the next announcements are, but there are more that are coming, and it's going to be very, very positive. So I'm excited about this. I also want to thank a number of the legislators who are here today. Tristan Levitt, thank you for your support in being here. Jim Butler, thank you for all of your work and your wonderful bride. I also want to thank Senator Glenn Jeffries, who was unable to be here today, but I know he's excited about the announcement, and I think the Toyota plant is in his district as well, so I want to definitely reference that. So just what a good day for West Virginia, and many more are coming. So with that, I'd like to open it up to any questions from the media. Stephen.
Let me start off with this. Obviously, this is an important investment in West Virginia. New jobs, that means potentially new taxpayers. It could hire West Virginians, it could bring in new residents in the state. And you're heading into, obviously, your second year as governor, and there's things you want to do to try to continue this type of investments. Rumor on the street is you are thinking about a potential special session related to some sort of tax reform before the end of the year. And I'm sure you don't, if that's something you're working on, I'm sure you don't want to spill the beans on that. But is that something you're talking about? And whatever you do plan to announce, what's the goal? Is that also the encourage
Well,
more investment similar to?
without talking about every detail, because I want to wait. I like to work with people to be able to announce it when you have a lot of collaboration. But I will say this: it's been my goal for a long time to have tax cuts, and I think you know that going back to the state of the state, going back to the campaign. But I've always said you have to pay for them, right? I think I've been very consistent about it, and that continues to this day. We made some real strides last year during the legislative session. The kind of structural changes and the spending discipline that we showed, I think, has helped tremendously. Obviously, we have to always be cautious because we know that we're going to keep watching the numbers to see what the impact of the shutdown had on the economy and what may occur into the future. But I know this: I just watched over the last number of months as other states around us further lowered their income tax. I do not want to have other states gain a competitive advantage over us because West Virginia needs to lead the region in terms of having the lowest income taxes around. So we are always looking at ways to lower taxes, and I can tell you that that's what we're going to be doing, whether it's now or sometime early next year. I will say that we're going to keep pushing to do that. But I take seriously that when you bring people together, whether it's a special or during the normal legislative session, it's good to have your I's dotted and your T's crossed. So, we're having good conversations with people, and I'm very hopeful that we can provide some tax relief to our citizens. A lot of West Virginians are still hurting. They're hurting from some of the inflation and the high electricity bills, and I'd like to give some of them I'd like to give all of them if I can, but I want to give people a tax break if I can. And the timing of that remains to be seen, but I think that's good for West Virginia. But it's being done the right way. It's done the right way that's fiscally responsible, and we're going to keep doing that approach. Delaney?
Last week, Brooke Rollins said that all SNAP beneficiaries will have to reapply to the program due to alleged fraud. Will recipients in West Virginia need to reapply to the program?
So we obviously have to work with the federal government because that's a federal program. So, we're inquiring to learn more about that. And, we, of course, all want to root out fraud wherever it exists. So as we get more information, I'm happy to, when I stand before you again, it's probably sometime in upcoming days, to give you more details on that. But, we heard about the announcement, but I don't have all the details around it. So I've learned as a former Attorney General best to not speculate until I know a little bit more. But as we learn more, we'll talk about it. But most certainly we want to root out fraud in the system. I think that goes without saying. But in terms of specific rule changes or eligibility, I'd have to learn more from the feds before I come back and speak intelligently on it.
This question's for you, sir. In regards to this new announcement, it's one of several announcements that have been made over the last few years, which kind of shows just how this technology is evolving over time. And becoming much more important to the automobile industry. So what's it say for particularly the health of Toyota here in West Virginia? Because it seems like the sky's the limit. It just keeps going up and up and up.
Yeah, so Toyota's long had a philosophy to build where we sell and buy where we build. And I think this investment continues to reflect that philosophy. I mentioned earlier the multi-pathway approach towards electrification. Again, we don't believe in one solution towards the future of how to reduce carbon emissions. We believe that every customer has unique driving conditions, and so we want to go across the entire diversity of our vehicles and offer a carbon-reducing option to every customer. I'm really proud of the fact that our plant in West Virginia is the only plant in North America that can produce hybrid transaxles. And we are also developing that skill that we'll need in the future should pure battery electric vehicles become more popular. We're developing the right skills that'll put us in the right position to continue to take advantage of that growth in the market. So in terms of your point, I also think our future is quite bright. And, and I think, again, the great results that we have, the partnerships we have in the community, the partnership we have with the state of West Virginia, it's a winning solution. And we're really proud of it.
Great. Other questions from any of the media that are here? No other questions? I want to say thank you all for coming. I appreciate it. And so another wonderful day to be here in wild and wonderful West Virginia. Thank you. Hey, thank you. It was great. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Terrific.